coconut shrimp, my first experience with coconut shrimp. And I do apologize, you're gonna notice the stove is really dirty. I don't feel like cleaning the stove, then frying shrimp, and then it's gonna be splatter. And as I mentioned in the chicken wing recipe that I dropped a few days ago, I hate cleaning oil splatter, so I'll do it after. Anyways, my experience with well, my favorite experience with coconut shrimp, and what I have here is 1 pound of shrimp. I think they're 26-30, so medium size, cleaned, deveined, cleaned, and washed with the juice of a lemon. We flew into Montego Bay, Jamaica, and that same night, you know, it was a long flight because there was delays from Toronto and all this thing like that. But anyways, hungry, man, real hungry. Ended up in Ocho Rio. And you know, I think they call it Ochi locally. Ochi. We ended up in Ochi at a bar, and they were serving coconut shrimp. And I'm telling you, boy, there was 3-4 of us or something, and there were a couple left on the plate. And I was watching, I was gauging that thing, trying to go in for the last kill. I still love coconut shrimp, and I make it every so often. You would have seen it way back when on CaribbeanPod.com, but updated recipe. 1 pound of that shrimp, and I want to show you what I did. So they're peeled and deveined, so I deveined it there. I left the tail on just to be able to hold it. You know, aesthetics, you don't have to, it's totally up to you. But what I also did on the bottom, I gave it some cuts. 3 cuts on the bottom, just because what happens is when you fry them, they will tend to curl, and the hopes would by putting those little cuts there, those little slits, and you got to be careful when you're doing it, because yeah, if they were more firm it'd be easier. But the idea behind those cuts is to prevent them from overly curling. Now if you don't mind the curl and you want little poppers like that, you can remove the tail, totally up to you. But in my case here, I went ahead and I gave them those cuts. So again, 1 pound of shrimp. Just gonna give my hand a little wipey wipe. All I give you, and this is totally optional. I am from the Caribbean. I am a born and bred Trinbagonian. I want some Caribbean green seasoning in there, totally optional. That it just adds a nice little herbal note to the shrimp. You don't need to, most recipes don't. Salt, and you will see some people may season the flour. I don't season the flour. I put all my seasoning here, so when you bite through, you're getting this lovely seasoned shrimp. And the seasoning is very simple. Salt, the Caribbean green seasoning, and some fresh ground black pepper. I'm gonna give that a mix, and that is it as far as seasoning is concerned. I'll also introduce you to the other ingredients. We've got plain old flour, which is all-purpose flour. We've got sweetened coconut flakes, yeah, small flakes. I've got panko breadcrumbs, and you gotta head over to CaribbeanPod.com. The full printable recipe for everything here, exact amounts and everything will be listed there. I've got 2 eggs. That is it. You'll need some vegetable oil for frying, and you're good. Hit that mixy mix, and you don't need this to marinate for long. 5-10 minutes and you're good. So as you prep the other ingredients, well, there's really nothing to prep but to whisk the eggs and to sort of put everything. What we're going to do is combine the panko breadcrumbs along with the coconut, the shredded coconut, in one bowl. We're going to mix them together. We're going to put this in a bigger bowl, and we're going to whisk. And if you wanted to add a bit of salt and black pepper to your dredge, which is the flour, it's totally up to you. I'm just whisking the eggs with a fork just to add some air in it and to mix everything together there. Now in my bowl here, I have the all-purpose flour. I'm just gonna shift this over. In goes that panko breadcrumbs, followed by the coconut. And again, that is sweetened shredded coconut, yeah? All you want to do next is pretty much give that a good mix, yeah? Like so. If you wanted to crush some saltine crackers, you can use that if you don't have the panko breadcrumbs, alright? All that's left to do now is you're gonna grab a shrimp, you're gonna dust it in the flour, like so. Make sure you cover it. Hit them a little shaky shake into the egg, yeah? And finally, you gotta shake that out as well. You're gonna toss that in there, dry hand. Hit them a little tappy tap, like so. And there we go. We've got a perfectly coated shrimp for making coconut shrimp. I've just got my sheet pan there, and I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to continue doing the same thing. So one more time, just to show you all. Flour, egg, kind of shake off the excess, and then pat. So one hand remains wet, one hand remains dry basically. It will take a few minutes to get them done, but you see, we all dressed up and ready to go into that hot oil now. Whether you use, like I said, vegetable oil, corn oil, canola, it's totally up to you if you want to use lard. Hey, do you think coconut oil? If you have it and you want to use it, by all means. Now, what I forgot to mention earlier, if you don't want to do the egg sort of part of it, and you have coconut milk, you can go flour, coconut milk, and then into the combination of the shredded coconut with the panko breadcrumbs. Why do I keep stuttering and pausing every time I say that word? Panko. Oh gosh, Chris, why are you so man? So here's my setup. We're trying to get the vegetable oil to about 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got my shrimp, which is all prepared here, of course the oil, and I've got a wire rack over a tray, because I don't want to put these onto, once they're fried, I don't want to put them on paper towel, because then it will create steam and they'll go soggy. By putting it on the wire rack, because I want to do them in batches, maybe about 3 batches, it will allow the air to keep them nice and crisp. And my oil is on a medium high flame there, and again you want it about 375, and you just want to put these in. Try not to overcrowd the pan, and they won't take long, 3-4 minutes, maximum 5, and they'll be ready. After a minute and a half, I'm just going to flip them over, and notice they're not curling. That is because of the cuts that we made earlier when I was explaining how I cleaned and deveined them. Yeah, you know, and as far as dipping sauce is concerned, you want to keep this simple. All I have is a store-bought Thai chili sauce. That's it. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. And notice how quickly the color is coming on, and if you know anything about shrimp, they cook very quickly. So, and the other thing you want to keep in mind is you don't want to overcook it, because then it becomes chewy and rubbery and stuff. It's going to be quick now, and notice this beautiful golden color we got. And what I've found over the years in making this is, as they cool, they will darken up a little bit more. So just be mindful of that. Man, are they ever smelling good? And I know for a fact, from experience, I'm gonna be enjoying these. Yo man, I love me some coconut shrimp, you know. Quickly removing the second batch, and then the third batch, and then Iman is all done. Make sure you shake off as much of the oil. Or if you wanted to hit it a little sea salt as you remove them out of the oil here, you can certainly do that as well. Iman, I really don't rock the high sodium diet anymore, so you know, no more salting going on this, but it is an option, yeah? The other thing is, when I season the shrimp there with a Caribbean green seasoning and salt and black pepper, if you wanted to put a bit of cayenne pepper in there, if you wanted to put a bit of paprika in there, all those different things, onion powder, garlic powder, you can be as creative as you want, but the simplistic way of doing this is what you're seeing here, minus the green seasoning. That's the simple way, and you're pretty much done. That is, you know, it's very simple, but you hit a restaurant and they charge an upwards of $30 for a third, maybe half a portion. Half of this would be a portion, because with the pound, I'm sure you're not getting a pound for the price I just quoted. Coconut shrimp, yo, so easy and so delicious, except you gotta put up with this frying smell and the splattering of the oil. But small thing, I just being a little bit overcritical about. I hate the smell of frying food, I'll be honest with you. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. Well, and I'll show you how I put it together with that simple Thai sweet chili sauce. Like I said, very simple Thai chili sauce, that sweet chili sauce with the coconut shrimp. Now, if you wanted a couple pieces, a couple wedges of lemon in there, you can do that as well. Totally up to you. You don't need to go overboard, because you want the shrimp to speak for itself. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. I do hope you will get an opportunity to give these a try. Man, going in now.